Top of the morning, Washington Commanders Nation. Another day, another reported, put that in bunny ears, by the way, another reported Terry McLaurin update to the contract saga here in DC, per NFL Insider of The Athletic, former ESPN anchor and former Washington Redskins beat reporter Diana Rossini. Y'all remember NBC Diana? Lots of stories, good time. She is reporting that Terry McLaurin is looking for parts of DK Metcalf's new Steelers contract in his own negotiation with the Commanders, but not necessarily Metcalf's $33 million average salary. More of what I'm hearing. She hosts a show called Scoop City with Chase Daniel, which ironically, she misses on a lot of the information she posts, but it is something to talk about. Also, Dan Graziano of ESPN, who's covered the NFC East very closely, say Washington has no intention of trading Terry McLaurin, but we already knew that. Let's talk about it. What it do and what's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. It is travel day for the squad. They will be getting on a plane today and headed up to Foxborough, Massachusetts for a Wednesday joint practice session at 10:30 a.m. with the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. A walkthrough practice on Thursday and a Friday preseason matchup against the Patriots as well. There will be no practice to talk about today, so Terry McLaurin is on the menu as of 10 a.m. this morning, and we woke up to a little bit of news, if you want to call it that. It's very word soupy, and it's very put two and two together. I mean, as fans, we can look at the dumbass DK Metcalf deal and say, I can see why Terry, even going into age 30, would say, give me the 30 mil that's guaranteed per season for him, because it's 2 years guaranteed. You can't really look at the overall total contract at this point. You look at the guarantees, but it gets very tricky. I'm going to read everything Diana Rossini is saying. She's saying Terry McLaurin hasn't missed a game since 2020, and despite being covered by number one corners his entire career, he's never had a teammate top 700 yards. He's recorded 5 straight seasons of 1,000+ yards. She mentions that I've heard there's parts of the contract that he's looking for, but doesn't necessarily want it. No, there was a specific verbiage that I wanted. It said something along the lines of there's a tax to it. Like he wants to be paid a tax for his production prior to Jaden Daniels' arrival here in DC. And that's where I say, I don't think Terry is asking for that. Buddy Baker, I could see that because Buddy Baker is a novice agent. That sounds like some Buddy Baker shit. But a team is paying you for what you will be producing over the years in terms of the accrued numbers of the contract. They're not paying you for past years of production before they got there. This is not a lifetime achievement award, you know? This is not a tribute that sounds personal. It's not. I think where this ends up, if an extension is to be struck before week 1 of the NFL season, I think this gets to the $30 million range. I think it closes out at like a 2-year, $30 million with almost $60 million guarantee. Or they can just get cute with it and say, here you go, Terry. 2 years, $60 million, fully guaranteed. That's $30 million a year. Congratulations, you are the first 30-year-old receiver to negotiate a contract of 30 or over. That's probably where we end up landing at some point, because when you look at the guys making 30 million, while I think in age it makes sense, and while I think guys are better than Terry, I can live with us for the next 2 seasons paying Terry McLaurin $30 million a year. And I'm speaking so because I think he's going to produce so much with Jaden over these next couple seasons that it's going to get it done. My thought process has nothing to do with playing with sorry-ass Heineke and Howell and Carson Wentz and all of the nasty quarterbacks we had him. It has nothing to do with that, because Adam Peters does not have to factor in those things. He knows what Terry means to the fan base. He knows what he means to the organization, but nothing done between 2019 and 2023 has anything to do with Adam Peters or why he would write an extension to Terry McLaurin. The first year of their being in Washington and what he's going to do over the next couple. The whole thing and the whole idea here is to guarantee Terry enough years that he gets the fuck off the books at wide receiver 1 pay when it's time to give Jaden the most historical contract in NFL history coming up, because we're definitely trending towards that. Jaden's going to get something crazy like $75 million a year. And this is the list. This is a tricky list because their guarantees don't necessarily hit these average per year salaries. But look at this list. Jamar Chase, 40.25. Jettas, 35 million. CD Lamb, 34. DK, 33, but he's only guaranteed 2 years, 60. So you can call that $30 million a year. I think that's the bullet point that Terry McLaurin has circled on his contract demands, or Buddy Baker, or whatever combination. But Terry's speaking for himself too. So we're gonna pair them. Garrett Wilson, 32.5. AJ Brown, 32. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 30. And Tyreek Hill, 30. Brandon Ayuk, 30. Brandon Ayuk is the part where you say, yeah, if that guy can get $30 million from the Niners, I believe Terry McLaurin could fit right into here with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek Hill, but more so because of Ayuk. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek Hill are oodles of more productive than Terry, whether y'all want to admit that or not. Debate your mother. It is true. And Tyreek Hill, you're going to say, Tyreek Hill is 31 and he's making $30 million a year. Yeah, we're not finna act like Tyreek Hill didn't have back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons, 100-catch seasons, and was not the best weapon in the league. There are levels to this shit. But Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, part of the list. T. Higgins is a number 2 receiver, but on most teams, he'd be a number 1. Terry does not care about any of that. This is the part of the list where you say, okay, we can pay Terry $29, $30 million a year. I just want to know what the hiccup is. Is it the guarantee, or is it the average per year salary? Does Terry want to say, look at me, I'm a $30 million a year guy, or does he want the guarantees to be $60 million or north because of what DK Metcalf was guaranteed? Because there is one common denominator on this list. Let's take it up from 16 up to 1. 27, 29, 26, 26, 28, 26, 26, 27, 31. But that's Tyreek Hill. He's a unicorn. 25, 28, 25, 27, 26, 26, 25. You see the issue? The issue, y'all can keep saying, oh, you guys are being ageist or ableist or whatever stupid Gen Z-ist word that y'all like to throw at everyone because we're way too sensitive about everything nowadays. It matters. It matters in negotiations. Ultimately, the compromise here is that they're going to meet around $29 to $30 million a year. But as a GM in Adam Peters' shoes, he has to prepare for Mikey Sanders still being a hit, Jaden Daniels being a hit. We don't even need to talk about Jaden Daniels. Mikey Sanders still being a hit. Let's say Brandon Coleman is a hit at guard. His contract will be up around that time too. We're going to have to write some young guys, some second-year extensions, and the one Jaden Daniels is going to get is going to be gargantuan. It's going to be a fucking monster of a contract. So there's a reason why they're signing a bunch of guys and getting them off the books every year. We get a brand new fresh start every offseason. We're not giving guys long-term. The longest deals we've given guys are 3 years. And with the guarantees in those contracts, they're not guaranteed to be here for the long term. So every offseason, we're going in with a fresh slate of robust capital to reshape and reform this roster. They have to prepare for the future. Like, it's not a good frame of reference to say, man, Dan Snyder would have got this deal done. Yeah, because Dan Snyder would have walked in and gave him the Jamar Chase deal, and we're not giving lifetime. These are not reparations. And by the way, reparations were never paid, so what are we even talking about in the first place? But I see where Terry is coming from. I see where Adam Peters is coming from. And while the team holds all the leverage and doesn't have to pay Terry McLaurin this year because they could call his bluff and make him play on his current deal, which is paying him, what, $23 million this year? I think base salary is like 16, but he's going to make $23 million this year. They could just say, we're going to hash this out in the 2026 offseason with a franchise tag and we negotiate from there. But I would imagine they'd like to get this done. They'd like to get this done before the start of the season, have this cloud no longer hang over the organization, and we get right back to business. Per Dan Graziano, the team has no intentions of trading Terry McLaurin. In other news, water is indeed wet. They're not trading. Why would they trade Terry McLaurin? Washington's title window is now open, and Terry McLaurin is an integral part of the ingredients of how we could win the NFC East, the NFC, and the entire thing in 2025. They're not trading Terry. I don't see Parsons or Terry getting traded, but Parsons' situation is a lot deeper, darker, and a little nastier than what's going on here. But this is the latest per Scoop City, Diana Rossini. She definitely shoots like Shaq from the free throw line when it comes to reporting stuff, which is very ironic for a show called Scoop City. But we'll see as more things come out, as we get more revelations about this Terry deal. We will talk about it. And while we're here, it's time to pay the bills. If you need tickets to anything in the 2025 NFL season, especially a Washington Commanders game, get them now at SeatGeek. I've been looking to find the best deal on Washington Commanders tickets for the 2025 season, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and more. The NFL is right around the corner, and MLB is in full swing. I love using SeatGeek. Recently used it, lock in my training camp tickets. Most notably, I was at the Grand National Tour with my son, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 through 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know I had to come through for y'all using promo code RIO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code RIO. RIO. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you again, SeatGeek, for sponsoring this video. Promo code RIO in the description below for any Washington Commanders tickets in the year of 2025. Thank you to SeatGeek once again. But Jaden let something be known yesterday. We all had speculations about Jaden's baby back rib injury last year. You know, the injury that he still got a Hail Mary. He still completed this Hail Mary with these ribs last year. But Jaden, you know, being the face of the NFC and all, him, Justin Jefferson, and Saquon were the commercial athletes for Madden 26. And they're watching like highlight reels of their best plays from last year. And Jaden, at the end of the conversation, pretty much says, yeah, and I threw that shit with broken ribs. We were told cartilage. We were told there was some cartilage damage and stuff like that, but we were not told specifically that ribs were broken. It goes to show you how much of a tight-knit, close to the vest organization we are now, because them broken ribs would have been leaking like the pipes at FedEx Field when they were spraying plumber juice back in 2021 if our past regime would have been here when Jaden broke his rib. But look at this clip.
I was at home watching this one.
Was that 65 in the air?
Nah, you launched that one.
Dude.
I ain't gonna lie, that's like a dream.
Yeah,
That's like a Hail Mary?
Like a Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah. That's a dream. To win a game like that?
Him versus Caleb.
In the all black.
That's
hard.
With a broke rib. Damn.
Nah, this was crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey,
I was at home.
hey, I like the casual flex, bro. We love our introverted king quarterback, bro. My man just casually had to get that in there, man, with a broke rib. With a broke rib. It just makes the Hail Mary even crazier because that shit was like 66 yards in the air. And with a broke rib. Man. And just know them numbers could have been even crazier his rookie year if them ribs were not broken, Jaden, just for safety purposes, next time you break away like you did on that run versus Carolina where you got folded up, take the outside lane, brother. You don't need to cut back ever. You never need to cut back on a run, bro. You can outrun that DB versus Carolina. But Jaden Daniels, had a broken rib. Good times, man. Good times. But God, I love our quarterback. We got a Terry McLaurin update. And okay, I know what I wanted to get to next. So we got a different look at that Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt run from practice yesterday. And I'm about to play that in just a second. I'm about to pull that up on screen. Give me 1 second. Because in this version, in this angle of the run, it's like, yeah, man, that's the type of stuff that gets me fired up. We're going to have some conversations about Brian Robinson and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. And I know it's early, and I know he's a 7th round pick, but I think we're about past that point. Look at this run.
Okay.
Dog, the way that he immediately cuts his lateral agility. Oh my God, I know Cliff Kingsbury is salivating over getting him on a regular football field. We're going to learn a lot about, put it in quotations, RB5 Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, aka Bill, in joint practice and this Friday in the preseason game, and how they pitch count him in the preseason, because he should not be on a pitch count if he's truly a 7th round pick. That's going to be the end of the running back room. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to reach and be Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, man, but listen, I pay attention here in DC. Remember back in the day before they got Robert the fuck out of town, when they had him running scout team safety, had that nigga at practice looking like Reed Doughty? And remember before we traded Jahan Dotson, we had him running with the punt team and shit. We had him running with the special teams unit. I may be reaching here. This may be a reach, but all of the usual faces, Lane, Osborne, Felton, and Allen returning punts. Also, Brian Robinson is back there, B-Rob. What the hell is Brian Robinson going to do for me on a punt return team? Like, to return punt? Is he back there to block for somebody? Is he back there to lead a convoy of blockers for a return? What is run straight plotter Brian Robinson doing on punt return team? They got him doing cross-training side quests during practice now. This could be a big nothing burger. I could be on some stupid conspiracy theory shit right now, but we've seen the playbook. We've seen it with Emmanuel Forbes right before he got ousted. We've seen it with Jahan Dotson. Both of these things happened last year. Had them boys running special teams and scout team like they weren't first-round picks. B-Rob was not only not a first-round pick, he was not drafted by Adam Peters and company. I don't think they're trading B-Rob because, one, I don't think B-Rob really has that much trade value under the last year of his contract. Two, like, what are we going to get, a late round pick swap? I think this more so could be telling and foreshadowing of the landscape of the running back room. I think Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is going to take carries away from everyone in that room. I think he's going to be listed as running back 3 to start the season, and I think they're going to get his ass on the field as much as possible. And I think over the 2025 season, B-Rob is going to be relegated out of the top spot. And by end of season going into 2026, Bill is going to be the guy in that room. They love him. This is not fan speculation. The fans in attendance have seen it. The media has seen it. The team is pushing Bill propaganda on a regular ass basis at this point. So this is not me just coming up with shit out of the blue, even though it could be very off base. And I'm not saying he's going to get traded, but 'tis a thing to watch for. 'Tis definitely a thing to watch for at this point, man. Because I remember the Jahan Dotson on punt team, Emmanuel Forbes running scout team. Shit, I'll take it as far back to Robert Griffin III running scout team safety at some point. But just watch the, like, how do you keep this off the football field? You're say, Rio, that's practice. I have a feeling it's going to look like this in the game too. You see the suddenness and the urgency. He cuts before he takes his first step. He gets the ball, immediately cuts, gets uphill, knows exactly where he's going with the ball, and has the get out speed to hit a second gear and go. Austin Eckler, fine, versatile back. Brian Robinson, fine, short yardage, complimentary back. Jeremy McNichols is a running back 3 at most. Chris Rodriguez is a fledgling part-time practice squad temp player. This is not your typical 7th round pick, and we need to stop treating him like he's your typical 7th round pick. He's going to get the fuck on the football field at some point this year, and it shouldn't be a surprise to any of us at this point. I am all aboard the Bill propaganda. I will be listening very closely to if he flashes versus the Patriots in practice tomorrow and in that preseason game. Pay very close attention to how much work he gets. I'm of the belief that I would feed him in preseason. Give him 20 touches a game and see what he can do with them. See what it's hitting on. But if he looks really good and if he's really a part of their plans in 2025, they're not going to give him as much touches. They're not going to give him the Michael Wiley treatment of last preseason because Michael Wiley was our August legend last year. They're going to take some snap counts away. Y'all remember how we put Terry McLaurin on ice his rookie year, and Jay did not tell the world that was going to be our wide receiver 1. If you were at camp that year like me and a lot of others, you could see that Terry was the number 1 guy, but they didn't let that boy touch the field really in the preseason that year. Lots of interesting conversations to stew over during these joint practices and during this preseason game with the New England Patriots coming up in a couple days. Like I said, team is on travel day. Terry McLaurin news, if you want to call it that. He wants the DK deal or some variation of the language in the DK deal. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is turning heads, a.k.a. Bill is turning heads in practice every day, and they got B-Rob out there doing side quests with the punt return team, which should have nothing to do with B-Rob because I don't know what B-Rob offers me as a punt returner. But that is all I got for right now. If anything else comes out today, I will try to get y'all some more content. I will be on the Off the Bench podcast with my guy in a couple hours, 1 o'clock live. Talk soon. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Until next time, Commander Rio, out.